Hey everybody, David here. This is another Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition Races overview. And this particular overview today is going to deal with the Ganassi. And the Ganassi is one of the new races that is in the Princes of Apocalypse by Wizards of the Coast. And if you want to see the Ganassi, you can go to the appendix in the back of the book and check it out. Or you can download the Princes of Apocalypse. They have a free PDF. It's called the Player's Companion, and it has the Ganassi, it has the Aarakocra, also the Goliath and the Deep Gnome, and about 100 new spells for D&D 5e also. So that is a free download. And don't worry, I'll have that link down below. So a lot of you new players of D&D, you probably don't know what a Ganassi is, but a lot of the more experienced players playing in 4th edition, 3, you will know what the Ganassi is. The Ganassi, basically they are from the elemental planes, and that's what Princes of the Apocalypse, its theme is dealing with the different planes. So basically the Ganassi are created from both humanoids and genies, whether it be in some kind of pact, by some kind of deal. That's basically how the Ganassi are created. There's also, multiple, there's genies get together, and create Ganassi. So there's all kinds of ways, but, just a general overview, a little bit of lore here, but that's pretty much how they're created by, offspring are created by the mortals and, also the genies. Now, there's some pretty decent lore here too. Basically, how in this section here, the heirs to elemental power. This is basically going over why they're the color they are. How they inherit features from their humanoid traits and from their genie traits and from the elemental plane that they're from. So they never have contact with their parents, pretty much. And most Ganassi live as exiles and outcasts. And it's pretty nice to read the lore about them. Now, in the picture here represented, the Ganassi from left to right this is the Earth Ganassi. The green is the water, and you can tell from the water coming up from his hand, and also the wave on his belt. Now, the red Ganassi obviously is fire, and the blue Ganassi is from the airplane. Now, there's also more lore talking about how they're wild and confident, and it's kind of funny because even though they really do not lack confidence at all, but they see themselves among equals among the area that they live. Most do not live on the elemental planes. They basically live in Faerun, or they live in Athos, the Dark Realm set, Dark Sun campaign setting. So there's the Ganassi can live pretty much anywhere, and they do not lack confidence, and it's actually kind of their downfall because their confidence makes them blind in other areas. So a lot of times, that's what pretty much seals their fate. So now for the lore for Ganassi lands, basically this is where it talks about the Ganassi. They never run into other Ganassi for the most part. Sometimes I'm sure they'll probably cross paths somehow, but most of the time they're rare, guys. I mean, it's not like there's just Ganassi running around all over Waterdeep or Baldur's Gate. It's really not like that at all. And there's no communities of their own, no cities of their own. So they're just basically sprinkled in from here to there. And, like I said earlier, a lot of them, they're outcast. So a lot of them are hermits. A lot of them live on the seas. The water Ganassi would probably live on the sea. The earth Ganassi would live in the mountains. I mean, there's just, they're really sparse. All right, so there's a little excerpt here talking about the Ganassi and Athos, which is the Dark Sun campaign setting, in case you did not know. So that would be a good little read for you. And over here, it has a very nice Ganassi names, how you would add in flame or jade or ember into their name. that would actually depict them and the the heritage and the color that they represent and the plane that they represent. So not only would they have a name, they would also add in something for the plane that they come from. Now, this is really nice too. The Ganassi backgrounds, it talks about the all four of the Ganassis, like the Heir Ganassi, proud of their heritage, and fitting backgrounds can be the charlatan, the entertainer, and the noble. The Earth Ganassi, which is pretty much more withdrawn, more of the outcast, would appropriate backgrounds for them would be the hermit, the outlander, and soldier. The Fire Ganassi, most of the Fire Ganassi, a lot of them become diplomats in cities and towns, and so they would have like a nobility background, a hero, or a folk hero, maybe even a criminal. And then the Water Ganassi, they basically are on the sea. So they would be like a hermit, maybe an outlander, and you can actually go with the sailor background for the Ganassi, and you can even kind of go a little bit more of that and maybe make him a pirate, maybe the captain of a pirate ship. So there's a lot of things that you can do with the Ganassi, and this Ganassi backgrounds gives you a little bit of more information in depth about each different type of Ganassi. But hey, guys, gals, it's ultimately up to you what you want to play. If you want to have an acolyte, go for it. There's nothing restricting you saying you have to play a sailor or hermit if you're going to play a Water Ganassi. It's not like that at all. D&D 5e gives you the freedom to do whatever you want, and that's the great thing about it. So, this is what everybody wants to see. They want to see what the traits are, the bonuses that you're going to get for being a Ganassi. Now, the great thing about the Ganassi, you're going to get the base Ganassi traits, which is what we're looking at right now. Now, you're also going to get, depending on which of the four sub-races, you're going to get more bonuses on top of the base. So we'll go over the baseline Ganassi traits right now. And the baseline Ganassi traits, the first one is your ability score increase. And you're going to gain +2 to your Constitution score. And that's a permanent bonus. Now, for the age of the Ganassi, they mature about the same rate as humans into their adulthood, into their late teens. They live a little bit longer than humans, which I think is about 120 years old. Now, the alignment, they're independent and self-reliant. The Ganassi tend towards a neutral alignment, but hey, guys, you don't have to do that. You can play a good Ganassi if you want. You can play an evil Ganassi if you want. Like I said about the backgrounds, alignments are the same thing. You're not restricted on what you have to play. Just because it recommends something, you can play whatever you want. Now, the size of Ganassi, they're varied because of where they're from on their plane of existence. Like the Earth Elemental would be a little bit taller, probably over 6 foot tall. The Air Elemental would be taller. Maybe the Fire and the Water would be a little bit shorter. And I think up here in the picture you can see that, yeah, they are a little bit taller. So the Earth Ganassi, the Air Ganassi would be a little bit taller, but hey, it's up to you again. If you want a Ganassi that's 7 foot tall, go for it. Just watch your head when you're walking through those catacombs. And for your Ganassi, you'll be considered a medium creature. Your base walking speed will be 30 feet. And for languages, you'll be able to speak, read, and write Common and Primordial. Now, Primordial is a guttural language filled with harsh syllables and hard consonants. It's basically the language of one of the languages of the planes. So each plane has their own distinctive language, but this is as far as what I remember, Primordial is sort of like a mixture of many different languages to where they can understand each other, but it's not as fluent as like I think it's Auris, which is the air language. So the 4 sub-races, you're going to get all of this stuff, guys, basically, for your Ganassi traits. And now if you choose the Air Ganassi, you are going to get several more bonuses. Now, the Air Ganassi, on top of your +2 to Constitution, you will also get +1 to your Dexterity score. So the Air Ganassi would be great for anything Constitution and Dexterity based. Even though every class in 5e really could use the Constitution bonus, +2 is really nice. That's another ability score modifier. So you could go with like a monk for the Heir Ganassi. You could go with a monk. You could go with a finesse-based fighter, a 2-weapon fighting. You could go with a rogue. There's a lot of options for you. You also are going to get Unending Breath, which this means that your Heir Ganassi is going to be able to hold his or her breath indefinitely while you are not incapacitated. Now that is very, very, very useful. I don't know how many times you're going to have an opportunity to use that, but that could really mean life or death, not only for you, but for your party. And then you're also going to get a racial feature called Mingle with the Wind. And this is where you can cast the Levitate spell once with this trait, requiring none of the material components. And you regain the ability to cast it when you finish a long rest. And Constitution will be the spell casting ability for this spell. Really cool. I mean, what is not better about being able to hold your breath indefinitely and cast Levitate on yourself once per long rest? It's really good. So, the Earth Ganassi. If you want to play the Earth Ganassi, you're going to get everything baseline, and you're also going to gain a strength score increase of +1. Really nice. So, the Ganassis would make great fighters, strength-based fighters. They'd make a great paladin. They would make a great barbarian. They would make good for anything that is strength-based. Or hey, play a thief if you want. If you want to play a rogue, play a rogue. If you want to play an Earth Ganassi mage, go for it. A wizard, go for it. There's nothing restricting you. You're also going to get the Earthwalk racial talent, racial feature, and this is where you can move across difficult terrain made of earth or stone without expending extra movement. That is really nice. You're also going to get Merge with Stone. This is where you can cast the Pass Without Trace spell once with this trait, like the like Levitate with the Heir Ganassi. You're going to require no material components, and you'll get the ability back after a long rest. Constitution's also going to be your spell casting ability for this spell. Now the Fire Ganassi. You'll get to everything baseline, and for the Fire Ganassi, you're also going to gain a +1 to your intelligence. So that would be good for any kind of sorcerer. Maybe I would say more probably of a wizard, anything intelligence based. But there again, everybody, if you want to play Fire Ganassi fighter, go for it. Its choice is up to you. It's just really the stats. You're going to get enough ability score improvements to get your stats up anyway. So yeah, but wizard would probably be a good choice. Now this the Fire Ganassi, you're going to get dark vision, and unlike the air and the earth, they do not get dark vision. So you're going to get dark vision where you can see dim light 60 feet, where it would be bright light. Or anything in darkness, it would be dim light for 60 feet. So this is where your ties to the elemental plane of fire make your dark vision unusual. And everything usually is in shades of gray. But for you and your dark vision, everything will be in shades of red, which makes sense. You're also going to gain fire resistance. And fire resistant is really nice. In 5th edition, the mechanic works like this. If you're resistant to something, you take half damage. So if you get hit by that fireball and you take 60 damage, your fire resistance is going to mitigate half that, and you're only going to take 30 fire damage. So fire resistance is really strong. Any kind of resistance is really strong in 5e. And then the last thing you're going to get, Reach to the Blaze. This is where you're going to know the Produce Flame cantrip. And then once you reach 3rd level, you can cast Burning Hands spell once as a 1st level spell. And your Constitution, like the air and the earth, your Constitution is going to be the spell casting ability for that spell. And also, you'll regain it after a long rest. So not only are you going to get one spell, you're going to get 2. You're going to get Produce Flame, and at level 3, you'll get Burning Hands. I'm really liking the Fire Ganassi, just because of, just the dark vision, The resistance alone is strong, but even reach to the blaze, even though you're not able to scale the damage up for burning hands, it's really nice utility. Last but not least is the Water Ganassi. And the Water Ganassi, on top of everything baseline over here, you are going to get a Wisdom score increased by 1. So the Wisdom classes are basically the Druid and the Cleric. So you can go with something like that. But then again, you can play anything you want. If you wanted to play a Bard or a Sorcerer or Warlock, Water Ganassi would be for you if that's what you want. So, like the Fire Ganassi, you're going to get acid resistance for Water Ganassi. So you're going to get resistance to acid, and once again, if you get hit with any kind of acid damage, you'll only take 50% of that. You're going to get Amphibious, where Amphibious means that you can breathe air and water. So much like the Water Ganassi, just like the first Air Ganassi there, you can hold your breath. Just like, you're going to be able to breathe underwater. I mean, it's win-win. You're also going to get Swim. So you have a swimming speed of 30 feet. Usually you would not have that. Your swimming, I believe, is halved in 5e, half of your movement. But you will get no movement penalty whatsoever for swimming as a Water Ganassi. Really nice. And then finally, you're going to get a couple more spells. You're going to get the racial feature called Call to the Wave. And this is where you know the Shape Water cantrip. And when you reach 3rd level, you'll be able to cast the Create or Destroy Water spell as a 2nd level spell once. And once you use it, you'll be able to, you'll have to finish a long rest before you can use Destroy Water again. And then just like all of the other sub-races for the Ganassi, you'll have to use your Constitution modifier as your spellcasting ability for the spells. So there you go, everybody. The Ganassi has a lot to offer. I think it's a great addition. In fact, I think it's a really great addition to 5e. And you can also go to the 4th edition. You can go back to 4th edition and you can read a little bit more about the Ganassi in the Forgotten Realms Players Campaign book. There's a little bit of information about them there, and check it out. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please feel free to leave a comment down below. Check out my website, tabletopping.net. I have over 840 character sheets, every level, every archetype. So, see you next time, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it.